Have you ever wondered why some meat products are banned in Europe, but you still see them stacked on American grocery shelves as if nothing is wrong? Why would one part of the world call them dangerous, while another treats them like everyday food? And most importantly, are you or your family unknowingly eating them right now? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 8 popular meat products that have been banned or heavily restricted overseas, yet remain widely available in the US and many other countries. Some of these names might surprise you, and by the end, you'll probably rethink what you toss into your shopping cart. Welcome back to BizWorld Explorer, the channel where we dig deep into business, consumer safety, and the hidden truths behind the products we all use. If you care about your health, your wallet, and the industries shaping your daily life, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon, because the information we uncover here is the kind of stuff big corporations would rather you never hear. So, let's dive into today's story. 8 popular meat products banned. Check if you bought them. Brand number 1. Tyson Fresh Beef. When most people picture American beef, Tyson is one of the first names that instantly pops into their heads. The ads are everywhere. Happy families gathered around the dinner table, juicy steaks on the grill, and images of cattle peacefully roaming wide-open fields under a bright sky. Tyson has built its reputation on this wholesome family image. But here's the truth most shoppers don't realize. The reality behind that shiny packaging is far more complicated and far less natural than the commercials want you to believe. Let's talk about what sets Tyson beef apart in the US versus in Europe. In the United States, much of Tyson's cattle are raised using synthetic growth hormones. These include chemicals like estradiol, trenbolone acetate, progesterone, zeranol, and melengestrol acetate. They're not nutrients or vitamins. They're not something your body needs. They are artificial growth boosters designed to make cattle pack on weight faster so they can reach slaughter size in record time. The result? More meat produced faster, which means more profit for the company. But here's the catch. Across the Atlantic, the European Union and the United Kingdom have had strict bans on this type of hormone-treated beef for decades. Why? Because of the very real concerns linked to these chemicals. Studies have tied them to a range of serious health issues, including hormone disruption, reproductive problems, and an increased risk of hormone-sensitive cancers like breast and prostate cancer. And here's something that should make you stop and think. Tyson is fully capable of producing beef without these hormones. In fact, they already do it for Europe. The meat they ship overseas is required to be hormone-free, and Tyson complies with that law. So the same company that tells American families this is safe is sending a completely different, cleaner version of its beef to European families. That's a double standard that many consumers in the US have never even thought about. Now, let's bring it closer to home. What does this mean for you, your family, or even your kids? For older people, these synthetic hormones can build up in the body over time. That means the longer you consume hormone-treated beef, the more it may increase the risks of certain cancers and endocrine disorders. For children who are still developing, the risks are even scarier. Hormone exposure during childhood can interfere with natural growth, puberty timing, and even long-term fertility health. The scary part? Many families don't even realize that the ground beef or steak they're buying might have come from hormone-treated cattle. Unless the package specifically says no added hormones or organic, there's a good chance you're getting the conventional version filled with these artificial boosters. So let's recap. Tyson sells Americans hormone-treated beef, while at the same time proving they can deliver hormone-free beef to Europe. If they can do it there, why not here? Why should European families automatically get safer meat? while American families are left to pay extra if they want the cleaner option. This isn't just about business. It's about fairness, transparency, and most importantly, health. Now here's the real question for you. After hearing all of this, would you still eat Tyson beef? Or, if you've been eating it already, does this information make you reconsider your choices? Brand number 2, JBS Swift Beef. You may not instantly recognize the name Swift Beef on your grocery store shelves, but here's the twist. If you've eaten beef in the US, there's a very high chance it passed through the processing plants of JBS, the world's largest meat producer. This Brazilian-based giant has its hands in nearly every part of the American meat supply chain, from beef to pork to chicken. Simply put, JBS is a powerhouse in the global meat industry. But behind that enormous reach lies a story that isn't so appetizing. Let's start with their production practices. Much like Tyson, JBS uses synthetic growth hormones in their cattle for the American market. These include hormone implants such as estradiol, progesterone, trenbolone acetate, and others. The purpose is the same: to speed up growth, add weight faster, and ultimately maximize profit. But here's where the problem begins. In the European Union and the United Kingdom, this practice is completely illegal. Their laws state that all imported beef must be hormone-free, citing decades of research connecting hormone residues to health issues in humans. So, once again, we see a troubling double standard. JBS sells hormone-free beef to Europe because the law demands it. Yet, here in the United States, where regulations are looser, they continue pumping hormones into their cattle as though it's just business as usual. Now, let's talk about the health impact. Consuming beef from hormone-treated cattle doesn't just vanish from your system. Over time, it can create real problems. Studies suggest links to higher risks of breast and prostate cancers, reproductive system disruptions, and long-term hormone imbalances. These are not minor issues. They are life-changing risks that pile up slowly with continued consumption. For older people, it's about increased cancer risk. For children, it's about hormones interfering with natural growth and development. But with JBS, the story doesn't stop there. There's an extra layer of controversy. And it's about money. In 2025, JBS agreed to pay over $80 million to settle lawsuits. The accusation? That JBS, along with other meat giants, conspired to suppress the prices they paid to ranchers while keeping consumer prices high. Think about that for a moment. The ranchers, the hard-working people raising the cattle, were allegedly paid less than they deserved, while families like yours and mine were paying inflated prices at the grocery store. Both ends of the chain, producers and consumers, were squeezed, while JBS walked away with the profit. This paints a very clear picture. When you buy JBS beef in America, you're not only dealing with potential hormone exposure, but you're also indirectly supporting a system accused of cheating farmers and overcharging shoppers. And all of this comes from the biggest meat company in the world, a company powerful enough to shape global markets, but unwilling to prioritize health and fairness. So here's the real question. Knowing what you now know about the hormones, the health risks, and the price manipulation, would you still eat JBS beef? Or if you've already been buying it without realizing, does this new information make you want to rethink your choices? Brand number 3, Cargill beef and processed meats. When people think of big American meat companies, names like Tyson or Hormel usually come to mind first. But quietly operating behind the scenes is another giant, Cargill. It may not be a household name, but Cargill is one of the most powerful players in the global meat industry. Their reach extends into grocery store private label brands, warehouse club packaging, and even the supply chains of major fast food chains you probably eat from without even realizing it. In other words, you may not see Cargill stamped on the package, but chances are you've already eaten their products. Now, here's where the story gets troubling. Much of Cargill's beef sold in the United States comes from hormone-treated cattle. Just like Tyson and JBS, they rely on synthetic growth hormones to speed up cattle growth, cut down costs, and maximize output. But if you were to try to send that same beef to Europe, it would be stopped at the border. Why? Because the European Union has flat-out banned hormone-treated beef for decades, citing well-documented health risks. But hormones are only part of the problem. Cargill's processed meats, things like frozen beef patties, pre-packed deli slices, and some ready-to-eat products, often include preservatives like sodium nitrate and sodium nitrite. At first glance, these sound like just harmless additives. Their job is to keep meat looking fresh and pink, and to preserve flavor so the product lasts longer on shelves. But here's the ugly truth. When these chemicals break down in the body, they can form nitrosamines, a group of compounds that are recognized as carcinogenic. This isn't just speculation. Numerous studies link nitrosamines to colorectal cancer and other serious health issues. It's no wonder that European regulators have been steadily reducing the legal limits for nitrites in processed meats. They see the risks and are moving to protect consumers. Meanwhile, in the US, supermarket shelves are still lined with hot dogs, bacon, frozen patties, and deli meats containing these very additives. Think about what that means for families. For children, consuming these processed meats regularly increases their lifetime cancer risk. Their young bodies are more vulnerable, and early exposure only sets them up for bigger problems later in life. For seniors, the issue is just as alarming. Older bodies are less resilient, and the risks from nitrates and hormone residues stack higher with age, increasing the chance of digestive and hormonal complications. And here's the kicker. Just like Tyson and JBS, Cargill is fully capable of producing cleaner, safer versions of its products. In fact, they already do it for strict markets like Europe, China, and certain export regions. So why is it that families abroad are automatically given higher quality, safer meat, while the American family at home gets the lower standard version? This is more than just a food safety issue. It's a double standard. And the more you uncover, the more frustrating it gets. So let me ask you this. Now that you know what's really inside Cargill's beef and processed meats, would you still eat them? Or if you've been buying them without realizing, does this new information make you stop and think twice before putting them in your cart? Brand number 4. Smith Packing Deli Meats. Deli meats like ham, salami, and bologna have been a household staple for decades. They carry a certain nostalgia. Quick sandwiches packed for school lunches, budget-friendly meals, or even those late-night snacks where nothing hits the spot quite like a slice of cold cut. But behind that comfort lies a darker reality. In 2025, Smith Packing issued a massive recall of nearly 19,000 pounds of deli meat. The reason? Tests revealed sodium nitrite levels above the legal US limit. At first glance, it might seem like a technical violation, but the truth is far more unsettling. Even when sodium nitrite is within legal limits, health experts remain deeply concerned. This common preservative helps give deli meats their signature color and flavor. But once inside the body, it can form compounds called nitrosamines. According to the World Health Organization, nitrosamines are classified as carcinogenic, meaning they are linked to cancer risk. The European Union has already started cutting allowable levels of nitrites and nitrates in processed meats, but the US continues to allow higher concentrations. That gap leaves American consumers more vulnerable than many realize, and the risks don't stop at long-term cancer concerns. For individuals with certain health conditions, high nitrite exposure can trigger a rare but dangerous disorder called methemoglobinemia. This condition reduces the blood's ability to carry oxygen, causing dizziness, fatigue, and, in severe cases, life-threatening complications. So, while a simple slice of ham or bologna may seem harmless, the reality is that every bite could carry unseen risks, whether immediate or over time. Now the real question is, after hearing all this, would you still choose Smith-Packing deli meats? Or were you already consuming them before learning the hidden dangers? By the way, if you've made it this far, hit that like button and subscribe for more eye-opening food investigations. And tell me in the comments, have you ever bought any of these meat products without knowing what's really inside? Your story might even help someone else watching this. Brand number 5, Hormel Black Label Bacon. Just the word brings images of sizzling pans, Saturday morning breakfasts, and that irresistible smoky aroma filling the kitchen. For millions of households, Hormel Black Label Bacon is the go-to choice. It's widely available, affordable, and carries that perfect pink color consumers expect. But here's the uncomfortable truth. That color and flavor don't happen naturally. They come from sodium nitrite, a curing agent. While nitrites help preserve meat, they also react during cooking to form nitrosamines, compounds that the World Health Organization links to cancers of the colon, stomach, and pancreas. In 2025, the European Union responded to growing evidence by slashing allowable levels of nitrites in processed pork products. Yet in the United States, Hormel Black Label Bacon is still sold in massive volumes, with much higher nitrite concentrations considered acceptable. And here's something most people don't realize. The way you cook your bacon makes things worse. Frying it at high temperatures, especially until it's extra crispy, increases nitrosamine formation, amplifying the potential health risks. In other words, the crunchier you like your bacon, the more dangerous it could be. Hormel does offer nitrite-free bacon, but these versions are usually marketed as premium, more expensive products. That means safety becomes a luxury upgrade, while the standard version, the one most people buy, remains the riskier choice. Add to that the high levels of saturated fat and sodium already present in bacon, and you've got a product that delivers flavor in the moment, but may carry hidden costs for your long-term health. So, after hearing all this, would you still continue eating Hormel Black Label Bacon? Or were you already consuming it regularly without knowing about these risks? Brand number 6, Oscar Mayer Classic Beef Franks. Few foods feel as American as hot dogs. They're the stars of backyard cookouts, ball games, and 4th of July celebrations. And when it comes to hot dogs, Oscar Mayer's Classic Beef Franks are almost a national symbol. Generations have grown up with that yellow package in their fridge. But here's what most people don't realize. These Franks are cured with sodium nitrite, the same chemical that's drawing health warnings worldwide. On the surface, it helps preserve the meat and keep that bright, appealing color. But when you grill or fry them, exactly how hot dogs are usually eaten, the nitrite can transform into nitrosamines, compounds strongly linked to cancers of the stomach, colon, and pancreas. Europe takes this risk so seriously that they enforce strict nitrite limits in sausages and franks. The reality? Many American hot dogs, including Oscar Mayer's Classic Beef Franks, wouldn't even pass European safety standards. What makes this even more concerning is who eats them most: children. Hot dogs are a staple at birthday parties, school events, and family barbecues. But kids are more vulnerable because their exposure builds up over years. What feels like harmless comfort food could be quietly stacking health risks for the future. Oscar Mayer and other brands have the ability to produce cleaner, nitrite-free franks. Yet in the US, those options are often sold as premium products, while the standard versions remain the everyday choice. Once again, safety is treated as an upgrade, not the baseline. So after hearing all this, would you still eat Oscar Mayer's classic beef franks? Or were you already feeding them to your family without knowing the risks? Brand number 7. Great Value Hickory Smoked Bacon. Walmart brand. For families trying to stretch their grocery budgets, Walmart's Great Value brand feels like a lifesaver. Their hickory smoked bacon is a top pick because it's affordable, widely available, and promises the same mouth-watering sizzle as the big-name brands. At first glance, it looks like a win-win. Save money and still enjoy bacon. But here's the hidden cost most shoppers don't realize: sodium nitrite. Just like other bacon brands, Great Value uses this additive to preserve color and extend shelf life. The real danger appears once it hits the frying pan. Cooking bacon at high heat triggers the formation of nitrosamines, cancer-causing compounds that health experts have been warning about for decades. Europe has already acted, tightening nitrite restrictions in processed pork products, including bacon, because of the clear link to cancers like colon, stomach, and pancreatic. Yet in the US, bacon, like Great Values, continues to be sold freely, with little public awareness of what's happening behind the flavor. The danger becomes even more serious for seniors. As people age, the body becomes less efficient at detoxifying harmful compounds, while the risks of cancer increase naturally. And here's the cruel twist: seniors on fixed incomes are often the ones who rely most on cheaper store brands like Great Value, meaning those most at risk may also be the ones most exposed. So while the package screams affordable, the real price may be hidden in long-term health consequences. Now the question is, after knowing this, would you still bring home Walmart's Great Value Hickory Smoked Bacon for your family? Or were you already serving it without realizing what's really inside? Brand number 8. Imported processed chicken with ractopamine. This one isn't a label you'll spot in the refrigerated aisle, but it's tied to something much more important: a chemical called ractopamine. Ractopamine is a feed additive designed to make livestock grow faster and leaner. It's commonly used in pork and beef production in the US. But here's the catch: more than 160 countries, including the entire European Union, China, and Russia, have banned it. Why? Because the potential health risks simply outweigh the benefits. In animals, ractopamine has been shown to cause cardiovascular issues, tremors, and erratic behavior. For humans, consuming meat contaminated with this chemical may lead to an increased heart rate, elevated blood pressure, and long-term organ stress. The World Health Organization and the Food and Agriculture Organization have repeatedly raised concerns about safe levels of exposure. Now you might be wondering, what does this have to do with chicken? After all, the US doesn't officially approve ractopamine for poultry use, and that's true. But the danger lies in cross-contamination. Processing facilities and feed mills that handle multiple types of livestock have, in the past, raised alarms about residues ending up in poultry products, especially imported or heavily processed chicken items. Think about it. Frozen chicken nuggets, pre-cooked strips, or bulk processed meat blends could all potentially carry trace amounts of chemicals banned across most of the globe. And since labeling laws don't always require companies to disclose feed additives used during production, you might never know. This isn't just about one brand. It's about a system that continues to lean on practices that much of the world has deemed unsafe. While American consumers are told it's fine, billions of people elsewhere live under stricter protections. So here's the real question. After learning about the risks of ractopamine and how it could slip into processed chicken, Would you still feel comfortable buying these products? Or have you already been eating them without realizing it? So there you have it, 8 popular meat products that Europe bans or heavily restricts, but that are still sold widely in the US. Tyson beef, JBS, Cargill, deli meats, Hormel bacon, Oscar Mayer hot dogs, Walmart's budget bacon, and even meat products tied to ractopamine all raise serious questions about what we're really eating. The bigger issue isn't just these products, it's the food system that normalizes lower standards for Americans while sending the cleaner, safer versions overseas. Shouldn't we demand the same level of protection as European families? Why should safety be sold as a luxury instead of a right? If you found this video eye-opening, don't just click away. Hit that like button, subscribe to BizWorld Explorer, and share this video with your friends and family. The more people know the truth, the harder it is for corporations to keep hiding behind pretty labels and nostalgic marketing. And before you go, tell us in the comments, which of these products shocked you the most, and what do you think should be banned next? Thanks for watching, and remember, the choices we make at the grocery store shape the future of our health. Stay safe, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next video.